Welcome back to the Royalist campaign from the mod for King or Country, a mod about the English Civil War. We are in the month of December 1642. We've just won a small victory with an army under the Earl of Northampton, not far from the historic battle at Powick Bridge. So we have some units here under the Earl of Northampton that were depleted. I'm going to eventually send them towards Worcester for retraining, potentially. And we could probably send some reinforcements to Prince Rupert. We can spare some of these cavaliers.
Sire. My lord. Sire. My lord. Orders. Sire. My lord. Sire. As you wish.
And I think that was the end of this month. The end of the game turn. So that was the end of the game turn. Let's just save the game and move over to 1643. That was quick. Cornwall marches. Sir of Hopetoun and the Cornwall Royalist. That would have included Belvoir Grenville, also some others, I don't remember their names now. We're aware that Cornwall was threatened by two armies, Colonel Ruthin's force at Liskeard and Lord Stafford's contingent marching into northern Cornwall. The Royalist commanders decided to march immediately against Ruthin before he could join forces with Stafford. On the 19th of January, Hopetoun's Royalists set out from Balconnock towards Liskeard. Around noon, the vanguard of dragoons sighted Ruthin's army of 4,000 troops drawn up at the crest of a ridge on the eastern side of Braddock Down. Hopetoun deployed his forces on a ridge within musket range. For 2 hours, the armies exchanged volleys of musket fire. Eventually, Hopetoun unmasked his field guns and attacked. The guns fired as Grenville led the Cornish infantry down the slope, then uphill against the Royalist force. The Parliamentarian musketeers fired off a single volley against the advancing Royalists. Then Ruthin's whole army turned and fled. So we have a new unit at Gloucester, trade increase, the governor of Chester. And we are the strongest faction. That's us. We're making about 36,000 per month, so we had also a bit of profit. There is a small parliamentarian army heading in our direction. That can probably reach us next game down. Now, what should we do with Northampton's army? I expect that the cavalry would not be very useful around the West Midlands.
Hail, my king!
We need to retrain a cavalry unit. The Carabiniers that can only be retrained at this point in Oxford.
An order.
Eventually the Earl of Northampton will have to head for Northampton, probably, I would think, via Oxford.
Hail, my king! Orders, my lord. By your command. Hail, my king! Yes, my liege.
So, for now, temporarily, over the winter, we'll get him to retrain his units. Maybe they'll be ready by February, March, and then he can head for Oxford and from Oxford to Northampton.
Hail, my king! Hail, my king! Hail, my king! Hail, my king! Orders. As you wish. Joining forces, my lord.
So this is the unit that has to go for retraining to Oxford, the Carabiniers. And in Oxford we have the governor. Let's retrain him. What are we doing in Reading? So we have William Waller and
Here, sire.
Sir Arthur Hazelrig.
Hail, my king!
We don't need the king in Reading. Probably we should get him at some point over to Oxford.
Hail, my king!
Unfortunately, our generals do not have enough movement to move around in the winter. And down here, Plymouth, we're building a regimental recruitment hall. We are building the training field in Reading. And possibly because of the risk of enemy attacks, maybe we should strengthen a little bit the defense of Oxford, possibly with a unit of pikemen. So rather than retraining that unit, I'm thinking of recruiting a new unit to retrain it later.
Hail, my king!
Okay, let's decommission that cavalry recruitment unit, build instead training field in Farnham Castle. Skippon is on the other side with her London train bands. So here the parliamentarians have the strength to attack. But yeah, I think for now we can save the money and think about what to build later on. And here we have enough public order. Yeah, potentially we can increase the garrison. Can strengthen the garrison a little bit. Okay, that's an option here. So we can improve the public order of the settlement. I would not expect attacks around Carlisle.
Hail, my king! Hail, my king!
Does he have a musket unit? Yes.
Hail, my king!
So possibly we could recruit there a pike unit. Nothing urgent.
Hail, my king!
I cannot think of anything else we could do for this month, January. And so that was January 1643. A very uneventful month. Let's see how February goes. Peace with a question mark. Already? Our campaign has just started. It is the year 1643 and the month is February. In February 1643, both sides agreed to hold peace talks. By April, they had come to a deadlock. The negotiations were eventually unsuccessful and the war continued. We have an office of horse in Gloucester, so we can retrain our units there now. We don't need to send them off anywhere. So we had some depleted cavalry units here, if you remember. So let's get over here. We have the Earl of Stamford as well. Let's get over the cavalry that Lord Byron was bringing over. We'll probably have a little bit of money to recruit something here now that the Earl of Stamford has made his appearance. He has been elusive. In this version of my campaign, he hadn't appeared at all. This is his first appearance. So, finally, we can send Thomas Byron, who was a colonel of cavalry in the actual Civil War, over to Oxford with a cavalry unit. He can maybe command some of the cavalry there. And over here, let's retrain some of these units. Perhaps in March we could start moving towards Northampton. And who's the best general here? Probably Northampton, so let's put Charles Gerard in command of the units in the West Midlands and take the Earl of Northampton eastward. And I expect that was February. Not really much to do, no battles. Here we are constructing a printing press in Gloucester. So I'm thinking maybe we can get a training field there so we can complete the retraining of these units, so I can take them with the Earl of Northampton next game turn towards Northampton. The king is blockader in Reading.
Hail, my king! Command me, sire. Yes.
Eventually we have to get the king to Oxford, partly in order to commission some buildings there. And possibly...
Hail, my king!
Okay, that was a mistake there.
Hail, my king!
Okay, let's save the campaign here. Yes, possibly also to aid in the push towards Northampton.
Hail, my king! Hail, my king! With honor, sire. Hail, my king! 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 Hail, my king!
The king hails you back.
With honor, sire. Yes, my liege.
Okay, we're halfway through building the regimental headquarters in Plymouth. We're building, I think, a coffee house in Reading. Raise taxes too very high in Winchester. So taxes look good in all settlements. Let's save once again. And that was the month of February. Peace indeed. Peace. Peace for now. So over to the next game, 10. The March of the year 1643. It is the year 1643 and the month is March. Parliament issues its first ordinance for sequestration, which essentially meant the confiscation of royalist estates. So everything that once belonged to the king will now belong to the Parliament, just because we say so. This is the world of politics. So we completed a training field at Farnham Castle and a printing press in Leeds that will help us improve public order. Over time, it will increase the favor of the population towards our faction. And the next step here for the Earl of Newcastle is to march with his army to Hull. For which purpose we need to ensure we have public order, so we need to leave a couple of weaker units perhaps behind and take the main army towards Hull. Let's leave the Thomas Glenham Regiment unit. Glenham? Isn't it Glenham? Thomas Glenham. I thought it was Thomas Glenham. I will check it up. So, we'll take also the cannon and march towards Hull. Hull is a fairly important settlement. We will have an issue with public order in Hull, so we'll see how we can deal with that once we are there. Okay, we can have 2 units with free upkeep, so I'll recruit 2 train band units in Leeds. And Lord Byron can continue his journey towards Oxford. It's interesting that it takes over 2 months to get from Gloucester to Oxford.
Yes, my liege.
Yeah, so here we have to rearrange some of these units, get healthy units to the Earl of Northampton, and units that need to be trained can go over to Warwick Castle and to Worcester. This is going to be another uneventful month. At this point, William Waller and Arthur Heselrigg had started moving towards this area here in the west of England, southwest England. They have 3 castles there, Parliament, and it's a desert for us because I would never be able to change the public order or the population opinion. So the next thing really is to get the Earl of Newcastle towards Hull and prepare for the advance of the Covenanters. We'll see what we do there, but in advance of the advance of the Covenanters, maybe we should take Hull. and potentially get the governor of York over to keep the public order down. He's a good governor. So there are some other settlements. Northampton is there, and Leicester, I think, a little bit further up. So this sort of area is now the next area we will advance into. And we'll just hold defending Gloucester and the West Country here. So there isn't anything else we can advance there. So our targets are in this sort of East Midlands. So this area in the Midlands will be our zone of operations for this year. And we already have 30 settlements, so we don't really need more settlements. As I said, my main target is to defend and defeat the Covenanters. Defend against the Covenanters to defeat them. If we have Hull, that's one of the settlements, of the extra settlements. If we take Cambridge and London, basically we have all of England. I'll see if I go that far. So there isn't going to be a battle in this episode, I'm afraid. I'm going to leave the episode here. And my main campaign target is to defeat the Scots. And we'll see how we take it from there, depending on what you people want to see, if you want the campaign to continue. I'm more interested in showcasing this mod rather than complete the campaign with a decisive victory. Okay, I'm going to leave the campaign at this point. For this episode. Without a battle this time. And I hope to see you for the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching.